Jai Gurudev, and that was an incredibly enlightening exploration of Hanuman's cultural and spiritual influence. Let's continue delving deeper into the body of research. You mentioned the neurotheological studies earlier and their focus on the mental and emotional effects of chanting the Hanuman Chalisa. Are there any other significant areas of research regarding the psychological or emotional benefits of Hanuman worship, particularly any international publications focusing on these aspects? Absolutely. The psychological and emotional dimensions of Hanuman worship have drawn increasing attention from researchers in the field of positive psychology and religious studies. Many international journals have begun publishing papers that explore how devotional practices, particularly those focused on Hanuman, can be effective in promoting mental well being, emotional resilience, and even cognitive functioning. One significant research paper published in a journal focusing on positive psychology delves into the emotional resilience built through the regular recitation of the Hanuman Chalisa. The study was conducted across diverse populations, including both Indian origin communities and non Indian practitioners in countries like the United States and Canada. The research found that consistent chanting of the Chalisa led to noticeable reductions in stress and anxiety levels. This is attributed to the repetitive nature of the verses and the deep sense of security devotees feel when invoking Hanuman's name. A key point from this study was that many participants reported feeling more capable of handling life's challenges after regularly chanting the Hanuman Chalisa. The verses of the Chalisa emphasize protection, courage, and selflessness, qualities that seem to fortify devotees emotionally. Participants spoke of feeling shielded by Hanuman, much like how Hanuman protected Lord Ram during times of difficulty. Researchers concluded that the ritual of daily chanting builds a mental framework that helps individuals deal with uncertainty and emotional distress more effectively. A particularly interesting segment of the study noted that even those without prior spiritual backgrounds who engage in these practices found psychological benefits. This speaks to the university and the universality of Hanuman's energy, as even those unfamiliar with his mythology reported feelings of inner strength and peace to the act of chanting. The positive vibrations generated by repetitive prayer seem to have a tangible effect on mental health, and this is an area scholars are continuing to explore through further neuropsychological studies. Another area of research published in a journal on behavioral science investigated how children in spiritual environments, particularly in schools that incorporate Hanuman related rituals, demonstrated improved focus and emotional control. The study found that children who regularly participated in chanting sessions, such as group recitations of the Hanuman Chalisa, showed significant improvements in their attention span and their ability to manage emotions like anger and frustration. Researchers believe this is because the stories of Hanuman's patience and unwavering devotion in the Ramayana provide powerful behavioral models for young minds, instilling values like persistence, self discipline, and empathy. This has even prompted discussions about the integration of Hanuman Chalisa chanting in educational settings as a means of teaching emotional intelligence and resilience. Such practices not only help students academically but also foster a holistic sense of well being. It is fascinating how Hanuman's character and the act of chanting are being scientifically connected to emotional resilience and cognitive benefits. Are there any studies examining the physiological effects of Hanuman worship, particularly in terms of stress reduction or physical health improvements? Yes, there are emerging studies that take a holistic view of the physiological impact of Hanuman worship, particularly in terms of stress reduction and overall health benefits. A study published in an international journal on health and spirituality examined the physiological responses of individuals who regularly participate in group chanting of the Hanuman Chalisa. The research found that participants who engaged in regular chanting sessions had lowered cortisol levels, which are directly associated with reduced stress. Cortisol is known as a stress hormone, and its elevation in the body is linked to various health problems such as anxiety, high blood pressure, and weakened immune system. By measuring these levels before and after chanting sessions, the study concluded that repetitive recitation of sacred verses like the Chalisa induces a relaxation response similar to what is observed in meditation practices. Moreover, the rhythmic aspect of chanting plays a significant role in the physiological shift, much like rhythmic breathing exercises. In pranayama, the repetition of the Hanuman Chalisa creates a calm, steady breathing pattern that synchronizes with the heartbeat, lowering blood pressure and promoting overall cardiovascular health. This finding was particularly noted in studies involving older adults who reported not only emotional relief but also physical improvements, including better sleep and reduced joint pain. Another notable study published in a journal on integrative medicine explored how the vibrations generated by chanting Hanuman's name, whether in the Chalisa or simple repetition of Om Hanumate Namaha, can stimulate certain areas of the brain linked to calmness and mental clarity. Researchers use brain imaging technologies to observe how chanting activates the parasympathetic nervous system, which is responsible for the body's rest and digest functions. Activation of this system counteracts the stress induced fight or flight response, leading to a deep state of relaxation. Participants who regularly chanted the Hanuman Chalisa mantras reported greater mental clarity, a reduction in symptoms of depression, and an overall sense of well being. This connection between vocal vibration and brain activity is an exciting field of study that bridges ancient spiritual practices with modern neurological science. Further research is exploring whether the vocalization of mantras like those associated with Hanuman has long term effects on neuroplasticity. The brain's ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections. This is still a developing area of study, but early findings suggest that such spiritual practices may improve cognitive function and emotional regulation, especially in older adults and individuals dealing with mental health challenges. It is incredible how these ancient practices are being validated by modern science, particularly in the areas of emotional and physical shift and health shifting slightly. Have there been any international studies or research papers that focus on the symbolic representation of Hanuman in the context of leadership and service, given his iconic role as a devoted servant of Lord Ram? Yes, Hanuman's qualities of leadership through service have become an area of significant interest, especially in studies examining the intersection of spirituality and leadership in modern contexts. A paper published in a journal on leadership and ethics analyzed how Hanuman's role and life provides a model for what is now referred to as a servant leadership. The research focused on Hanuman's selfless devotion to Lord Ram as a model for leaders in various sectors from corporate environments to community organizing. The paper argued that Hanuman embodies the ideal qualities of a servant leader: humility, dedication, the ability to put others' needs before one's own, and the willingness to go above and beyond for the greater good. These principles are increasingly being adopted by leadership development programs, especially those that incorporate spiritual teachings into their training modules. Interestingly, the study pointed out that many global leaders, particularly in Eastern spiritual traditions, invoke Hanuman's example when teaching about the importance of humility in leadership. Hanuman never sought personal recognition; instead, he focused entirely on serving Rama and fulfilling his duty. This idea of service without attachment to the fruits of one's actions has become central to leadership models that prioritize ethical behavior, community welfare, and the development of a collective vision. The study also highlighted how Hanuman's qualities of fearlessness and unwavering focus in the face of challenges, such as his mission to find Sita or burn down Lanka, are now being analyzed in leadership programs that emphasize resilience and adaptability. These programs, some of which are conducted internationally, draw on Hanuman's stories to teach leaders how to overcome obstacles, lead with compassion, and inspire their teams with a shared sense of purpose. In addition to leadership, Hanuman's role as a symbol of collective service is explored in international research and community building. One paper published in a journal on social anthropology examined how Hanuman's image is used in public service initiatives, particularly in India, but also in Hindu communities worldwide. The research focused on how Hanuman's iconography, his image carrying the Dronagiri mountain to deliver life-saving herbs, has been adapted into modern campaigns that promote social welfare, environmental protection, and disaster relief efforts. The study detailed on how various non-profit organizations and spiritual groups invoke Hanuman as an archetype of selfless service during natural disasters such as floods or earthquakes, where communities come together to help one another. The strength, resilience, and unwavering faith represented by Hanuman's actions serve as an inspiration for these collective efforts. The paper concluded by suggesting that Hanuman's example could be further utilized in global humanitarian efforts, especially those that draw on spiritual and cultural narratives to motivate and mobilize communities. That's truly inspiring. Hanuman's symbolism extends into so many aspects of life, from individual resilience to global humanitarian efforts. With all this valuable research emerging, what do you think is the most promising future direction for international studies on Lord Hanuman? I believe the most promising future direction lies in the integration of Hanuman's teachings into global wellness, leadership, and community building frameworks. As we have discussed, There is already significant research showing the psychological, emotional, and physical benefits of Hanuman worship. Moving forward, I anticipate more research into how Hanuman's example can influence global initiatives focused on mental health, environmental stewardship, and ethical leadership. Furthermore, as scientific studies continue to validate the neurological and physiological effects of chanting and devotional practices, there is enormous potential for Hanuman worship to be incorporated into therapeutic practices and wellness programs worldwide, whether through mantra chanting, meditation, or leadership models based on his qualities. Hanuman's influence will likely continue to grow, crossing cultural and religious boundaries. For scholars, the challenge will be to continue exploring these ancient practices with the rigor of modern science while honoring the deep spiritual significance. I also foresee more cross disciplinary collaborations between neuroscientists, psychologists, and spiritual scholars as they delve deeper into understanding the transformative power of figures like Hanuman in both personal and societal contexts. That's a powerful vision for the future. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise and for shedding light on Hanuman Chalisa. Jai Gurudev.